Imagine your mind is a mountain. Not a simple hill, but a colossal, ancient peak that holds all your memories, hopes, and fears. At its summit lies your truest self, your purpose, your values, your potential. But right now, it's covered in fog, thick, swirling mist that obscures the paths, hides the cliffs, and makes the way forward impossible to see. This isn't the fog of nature. It's the fog of modern life. It's the constant stream of notifications, the endless opinions of others on social media, the self-doubt that whispers, "What if?" It's the noise of the world and the chatter of your own mind, all combining to cloud your judgment and drown out your inner compass. We are living in an era of unprecedented information, yet many of us feel more lost than ever. The average person today consumes more information in a single day than a person in the 15th century would have encountered in a lifetime. This deluge of data, while offering unparalleled access to knowledge, has also created a new kind of poverty, the poverty of attention. We have so much to look at that we don't have the time to truly see. We are constantly reacting, not reflecting. We are driven by the urgent, not the important. This is the condition of the modern mind, a state of perpetual distraction where clarity is a rare and precious commodity. So, how can we cut through the fog and think clearly? How do we find the mental clarity to navigate our lives with purpose and peace? The answers, it turns out, aren't new. They've been waiting for us for thousands of years, etched into the wisdom of an ancient philosophy, Stoicism. This isn't about becoming emotionless robots, it's about becoming masters of our own minds. It's about learning to see the world as it is, not as we fear it to be. Chapter 1. What is clear thinking? Clear thinking isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the right perspective. It's the ability to distinguish between what is happening and your emotional reaction to what is happening. The Stoics were masters of this distinction, and their definition of clarity is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, put it plainly in his personal journal, Meditations. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. Think about that for a moment. He's not saying the external thing, the rude comment, the lost job, the traffic jam, isn't real. He's saying its power to hurt you isn't inherent. Its power comes from your mind, from the judgment you place upon it. The traffic jam is simply a collection of cars and a delay. It's your judgment that it's unfair or ruining your day that causes the anger. The rude comment is just a sequence of sounds. It's your judgment that it's an insult that causes the hurt. The Stoics taught that we must become detectives of our own thoughts, investigating our judgments to find the source of our pain. This is the core of Stoic clarity. It's a shift from emotional reaction to rational observation. Instead of immediately judging an event as good or bad, we learn to pause. We observe it for what it is, a neutral event, and only then do we decide on a rational, considered response. We replace the knee-jerk reaction of, "This is terrible," with the calm observation of "this has happened." This simple act of observation creates a crucial space for reason to enter. This practice requires three things: objectivity, seeing the world without the lens of your personal desires or fears. This means viewing a difficult person as a product of their own history, not as a personal antagonist in your story. Self-awareness, understanding your own judgments and biases so you can challenge them. You must know what triggers you to be able to disarm those triggers. Stillness. Creating space between an event and your reaction to it. This can be as simple as taking a deep breath or counting to 10 before you speak or act. The fog lifts, not when the world changes, but when we learn to see it clearly. Chapter 2. The Stoic Foundation of Clarity. To understand how the Stoics cultivated this remarkable clarity, we need to meet the masters themselves. Epictetus, the former slave who taught freedom of the mind. Seneca, the statesman and playwright who wrote profound letters on living well. And Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who wrote his philosophical thoughts to himself. They all agreed that clear thinking is not a luxury, it's a virtue, a necessary component of a good life. They built their philosophy on a few key ideas that serve as the foundation for mental clarity. The dichotomy of control. This is perhaps the most important Stoic principle. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us and some are not. Our thoughts, judgments, and actions are up to us. The actions of others, external events, and our health are not. The fog sets in when we waste our energy trying to control what's not ours to control. The clarity comes when we focus all our effort on the one thing we can truly command, our mind. For example, you cannot control whether your flight is delayed, but you can control your attitude and your use of that unexpected time. You cannot control a co-worker's negative attitude, but you can control whether you let it affect your own work or mood. The Stoics would say that obsessing over the uncontrollable is like trying to hold back the tide with your bare hands. It's a futile exercise that only exhausts you. Living. According to nature. For the Stoics, nature wasn't just trees and rivers. It was the rational, ordered structure of the universe. To live according to nature meant living a life guided by reason and logic, not by fleeting emotions or external pressures. When we think clearly, we are living in harmony with this natural order. A Stoic would argue that it is unnatural to be ruled by anger or envy because these emotions disrupt the rational flow of thought. They would say that living a life of clear, reasoned action is the most natural state for a human being. Virtue as the highest good. The Stoics believed that the only true good is virtue. Things like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. External things like wealth, health, or fame are indifference because they don't determine the quality of your character. By prioritizing virtue, we free our minds from the constant anxiety of chasing things we can't fully control. A person who values wealth above all else will live in constant fear of losing it. A person who values courage, however, is prepared for any adversity, whether they are rich or poor. The Stoic seeks not a life free of problems, but a character that is unshakable regardless of the problems that arise. These three ideas, control, nature, and virtue, work together to form a powerful shield against the fog. They remind us of the single most important lesson from the Stoics, famously captured by Epictetus. It's not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. Chapter 3. A modern example. The overthinker, meet Alex. Alex is the modern-day overthinker, a person constantly caught in the mental fog. Their day begins with a scroll through social media, a relentless stream of curated perfection that leaves Alex feeling inadequate. They see a friend's promotion, a neighbor's new car, a celebrity's perfect vacation. The internal dialogue is a chaotic storm. Why am I not as successful? Will I ever get to do something like that? Everyone else has it all figured out. This is followed by a colleague's passive-aggressive email that sends Alex into a spiral of what ifs. What did they mean by that? Are they trying to get me fired? What if I'm not good enough for this job? Alex's internal dialogue is a relentless, noisy monologue. There's no silence, just a cacophony of false urgency and imagined slights. The mountain of their mind is completely obscured. They are pained by external things, a colleague's email, a stranger's highlight reel, and every single one of these things feels like a personal attack, a reason to panic. But one day, Alex stumbles upon the Stoics. They read about the dichotomy of control and realize they've been trying to control the uncontrollable, the tone of an email, the opinions of a colleague, the carefully crafted image on a screen. They realize they've been trying to control the entire world to make it a place where they don't feel anxious. Alex decides to try a new path. The next time a similar email arrives, instead of immediately falling into a spiral, they pause. They ask themselves a simple question. Is this in my control? The email itself isn't. The colleague's intention isn't. The only thing in their control is their response. Alex takes a deep breath, drafts a simple, professional reply, and moves on with their day. The internal storm, for the first time in a long time, begins to calm. They realize that their peace of mind is not a fragile state dependent on others, but a choice they can make in any situation. This isn't just philosophy, it's a practice. It's the process of deliberately choosing clarity over chaos. It's an active decision to apply ancient wisdom to the modern world. Alex's story is a simple one, but it illustrates a profound truth. The fog in our minds is often of our own making, and we have the power to disperse it. Chapter 4: Tools from the Stoics to Think Clearly. The Stoics didn't just give us principles, they gave us a toolbox. These aren't abstract philosophical concepts. They are practical mental exercises you can use right now to cut through the fog and find your clarity. The view from above. This exercise involves imagining you are rising high above the world. From this vantage point, you see your problems as small specks in a vast, interconnected universe. Your petty arguments, your worries about tomorrow, your anxieties over a social media post, they all shrink. A Stoic might have imagined looking down from the heavens to see the entire Roman Empire, realizing that even the emperor's concerns were tiny in the face of eternity. Today, you might imagine looking down from a satellite, seeing your city, your country, and then the whole planet. This zoom out helps you gain perspective and realize that most of what troubles us is insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. This might sound pessimistic, but it's actually a powerful tool for resilience. The Stoics would spend time imagining things going wrong, losing their job, facing a difficult conversation, even a loved one passing away. The point isn't to dwell on the negative, but to mentally prepare for it. Seneca wrote, "He who has foreseen the whole thing with his mind robs the future of its sting." When we've already considered the worst-case scenario, we're less likely to be shocked or overwhelmed when adversity strikes. We've already done the mental work of separating the event from our judgment of it, so we can respond with calm and reason instead of panic. Journaling, like Marcus did. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his famous Meditations for publication, he wrote it for himself. It was a daily practice of self-reflection, a way to clarify his thoughts, remind himself of Stoic principles, and prepare for the day ahead. Journaling is a simple but profound tool. It externalizes the chaotic thoughts in your head, allowing you to examine them objectively. It helps you see the patterns in your thinking and challenge your own judgments. Writing down your anxieties makes them concrete and less terrifying. You can look at the words and ask, is this a rational fear or just a story I'm telling myself? delaying judgment. This is the pause, the moment between a stimulus and your response. The Stoics advised us to delay our judgment, to take a beat before reacting. When someone says something that triggers you, instead of immediately lashing out, just breathe. Ask yourself, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? This simple pause creates the space for a rational rather than emotional response. It's like creating a buffer zone between an event and your mind, allowing you to choose your reaction instead of being carried away by it. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics knew that comfort makes us soft. Seneca, in particular, encouraged people to practice voluntary discomfort. This could be as simple as taking a cold shower, skipping a meal, or walking to work instead of driving. These small acts of self-denial train your mind to be resilient. They teach you that you can survive and even thrive without constant comfort, a powerful lesson that helps you avoid panic when life inevitably gets difficult. By deliberately enduring a little hardship, you are telling your mind, I am stronger than my comfort zone. I am prepared for what life throws at me. Chapter 5. Silence, Solitude, and Clarity. In our hyperconnected world, silence is often seen as a void to be filled. Our phones, our podcasts, our streaming services, they are all tools we use to avoid being alone with our own thoughts. But the Stoics understood that true clarity is found not in the noise, but in the stillness. Seneca, in his letters, often wrote about the importance of solitude. He wasn't advocating for a life of isolation, but for a period of intentional withdrawal. He argued that we are often more influenced by the opinions of others than we realize, and that it is only in silence that we can truly hear ourselves. You must withdraw into yourself, he wrote, as far as you can. This withdrawal is not about escaping the world, but about returning to your own mind to tidy it up. The quieter you become, Seneca could have said, the more you can hear, not the world, but yourself. This is the power of intentional stillness. It's a deliberate act of putting down the phone, turning off the noise, and simply being. In these moments of solitude, the fog in your mind begins to dissipate. The frantic, anxious thoughts are replaced by a quiet, steady sense of peace. It's in this stillness that you can finally listen to your own wisdom, separate from the endless feedback loop of the world. In the absence of external validation, you can finally hear the voice of your own conscience, guiding you toward what is truly right for you. And this brings us to an important point. The tools and ideas we've discussed here are not just for reading, they are for doing. If you're tired of the mental fog and ready to take control of your inner world, then you're ready to start. Take a moment right now and ask yourself, what is the single biggest source of noise in my life? Is it social media, a difficult relationship, an unfulfilling job? Whatever it is, the first step to clearing the fog is to identify its source. Then, consider what small, intentional action you can take today to create more silence and solitude in your life. Perhaps it's a 10-minute walk without your phone, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea, letting your mind settle. Chapter 6. Clarity in Crisis, a Stoic's Moment. The true test of clear thinking isn't on a quiet day, it's in the midst of a storm. For Marcus Aurelius, the storm was his entire life. As a Roman emperor, he faced constant crises, wars on the borders, a devastating plague at home, and the political intrigue of his own court. His world was in chaos. A devastating plague, the Antonine Plague, swept through the Roman Empire during his reign, killing millions. Marcus watched his people suffer, his soldiers die, and his government struggled to cope with the disaster. A lesser man would have succumbed to despair and panic. But Marcus, every night, would retreat to his tent on the battlefield or to his chambers in Rome and write. He didn't write to panic or complain. He wrote to remind himself of the Stoic principles he held so dear. He wrote about the fleeting nature of life, the unimportance of external things, and the power of his own mind. He was, in effect, performing surgery on his own thoughts, cutting away the fear and the anxiety to get to the truth. His writings and meditations are not a historical record of the plague, but a testament to a man fighting to keep his mind a fortress of reason amid the chaos. Marcus's example teaches us a powerful lesson. Even in a world filled with disease, war, and political unrest, you can maintain a clear mind. The chaos of the world doesn't have to become the chaos of your mind. You can create an inner sanctuary of calm, a place of reason and clarity that no external event can touch. He taught himself to accept what he could not change and to find his duty, his virtue, in responding with courage and justice, regardless of the outcome. His story is proof that clear thinking is not a fair-weather philosophy. It is a lifeline in a crisis. It's what allows you to act with courage and wisdom when others are paralyzed by fear. It's the ultimate form of inner strength. Chapter 7. Letting go to see. Clearly. One of the most insidious reasons for mental fog is our desperate need to control everything. We spend so much mental energy trying to manipulate outcomes, the weather, our boss's mood, our kids' choices, that we leave no space for calm, rational thought. Overthinking is often a form of control, a frantic attempt to solve a problem that isn't ours to solve. We think that if we just worry enough, we can prevent a bad thing from happening. But this is a fallacy. Worry is not a form of preparation. It is a form of suffering. Stoicism offers a radical solution. Let go. Let go of what you can't control. Let go of the need for perfect outcomes. Let go of the desire for other people to behave exactly as you want them to. This isn't an act of surrender. It's an act of liberation. It's the moment you realize that the chains holding you down are not external, but are the very thoughts you have about controlling things that cannot be controlled. When you let go of what isn't yours to control, you free up a massive amount of mental space. The energy you once spent on worry and anxiety can now be used for what truly matters: your own judgments, actions, and character. This is where true clarity is born. Let reality be what it is, and your thoughts will follow, as the saying goes. The world doesn't owe you a peaceful existence, and it certainly won't conform to your desires. The only thing you can do is accept it for what it is and choose to respond with wisdom and virtue. This acceptance is not passive resignation. It is the active choice to focus on what you can influence. It is the clarity of a person who has stopped fighting an unwinnable battle with the universe and has instead chosen to build a fortress of calm within their own mind. We began with a metaphor of your mind as a mountain covered in fog. You now have the tools to cut through that fog. You have the wisdom of Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius at your disposal. You know that clear thinking is a practice, not a talent. You know that silence, solitude, and the courage to let go of what you can't control are your greatest assets. And now, with these tools in hand, the fog begins to lift. The mountain is revealed in all its truth. It's vast, and you can see the treacherous paths and the beautiful vistas. You see the difficult climbs and the peaceful meadows. You don't control the mountain. You only control how clearly you see it. The path forward is not always easy, but it is now visible. And with a clear mind, you can walk it with courage, purpose, and peace. If this story has helped you to see a little more clearly, to lift a little of the fog from your own mind, then please share it with someone you care about. Their mountain is waiting for them too.